The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Good morning. Court Radio is now in session. Call 215-227-2727. When you've got legal questions, we've got the answers. This is Court Radio. And now here's your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. It's Court Radio and it is Sunday, the 18th of October. Boy, this year went fast. It's a little chilly outside. I would say you need a windbreaker at least or a sweatshirt. But for the time being, you can just sit back and enjoy an hour of legal questions and answers. If you've got legal issues, we probably can get you the answer. Give us a call at 215-227-2727. That's the number for Court Radio and the number for My Philly Lawyer all week long. I'm joined in the studio. He has taken an extended break with the one and only, the inimitable David M. Rappaport.
Good morning.
Welcome back to your adoring fans.
My seat is warm.
Yeah, there you go.
The impression, my butt fits right in it.
We had little Saulie Langsam here last week who was
Wills and Estates.
Doing Wills and Estates. That's right. You got it. When we're talking Wills, we're talking Saul. But it's so good to see you back.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. And I want to thank our listeners. You know, David and I are number 2 in the marketplace. Number two. And we're looking to get to be number 1. So, you know, call your family, call your friends, and tell them how important Court Radio is in your life. I'm sure that'll make them wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and listen to us.
Something has to, right?
Well, or just don't go to sleep from the night before.
I questioned that when I was driving in the dark to get here. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? We're back into the dark
I know.
again.
It does do something to you. It's a little depressing, actually. But, you know, and cold.
215-227-2727 gets you in. David and I are going to take your legal questions. But first, let's talk a little bit about what's going on.
Temple.
Yeah, there you go.
How do you like that?
I watched the whole game last night.
Amazing. I like how he. I like the my mind. See, I haven't been off the radio. I can't even form a sentence. The talk that Coach gave to the team, he did out in the open on the field, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When he said...
And it charged them up, man.
You keep playing this way, and this game's a lost cause.
And it charged them up big time.
They were playing UCF.
It was awesome.
And they were 0-6. It shouldn't even have been a close game.
No, and they were...
but it was close. It was close until the end.
Right. It was cool, though. That way he really did affect them. It made
Coach Rule.
Yeah.
And Temple Owls are now, for the first time since 1974, they are 6-0. 6-0. And they're playing, who are they playing? They're going to be playing Notre Dame in a couple weeks, which I will be at the game. That's going to be Halloween night. 215-227.
Going to be up in the bell ringing
27. We got so many people calling from New Jersey. Let's try Bill on line 1 from, where are you from, Bill? From Newark. Hey, Bill, welcome to Court Radio.
Hi, good morning, fellas. How are you doing?
All right.
We're doing well. Can you hear us well in Newark?
Yeah, very well, yes.
Wow. Yeah, there you go.
How come in my car it's all staticky when I'm a mile from the station and I can't hear it?
Well, you got to get a car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got to get
a real
radio.
car. Yeah. A good radio in that car.
Right.
So, Bill, what do you do up in Newark?
Well, I teach IT.
Teach IT.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, what's your question?
Okay. A week ago, I had a car accident on 495. Someone almost turned over in front of me. I swerved to miss him, and I was hit in the rear, left rear quarter. That's not the problem, though. I went to call my insurance company. I want to state after having this insurance for 15 years or more, They told me I was canceled. My insurance was canceled in August. I didn't receive any verification of cancellation. I did receive a couple of bills for a couple $100 in July. I paid those, and right now they tell me I'm not covered. What kind of recourse do I have?
Well, everybody has, as long as you've been with the insurance company for a period of time. In other words, if you're a new insured, you have less rights, is what I'm trying to say. But because you said you were with them for years, there is a requirement that they provide you with notice of cancellation and an opportunity to cure the cancellation basis. If they have not done that, then eventually I believe you will get covered for this loss. However, I will also say that sorry about that.
Is that your phone?
It is. I'm getting text messages now, probably from listeners. I will say this: that if you got hit in the rear quarter or the rear end, it's probably the negligence or fault of the other car. You could have hit the car that almost rolled over. You brought your car under adequate and sufficient control to avoid that collision. And therefore, it may be that the other vehicle's insurance will pay for your property damage. If you've sustained an injury, you may also be entitled to pain and suffering from that car. But if you didn't sustain an injury, you probably would still be able to collect your property damage from that vehicle. So
even without insurance is what you're saying.
Yeah, and so I would say you if you want to pursue your own insurance company, you can do that. But maybe initially, the better way to do this is to pursue the other carrier for the time being and see if they'll pay it.
Well, yeah. Were you injured?
No one was injured.
Oh, okay.
It was just a minor fender bender.
All right. Well, then
minor today. Everything is very expensive to get fixed.
Then what was your reasoning of calling your company to get your car fixed? Is that what you wanted to do?
Well, if I had an accident, you're supposed to report it to your insurance company.
Correct.
To let them know.
That's true.
So that's what I did. And they tell me after 15 plus years, I'm not insured by them, and they swear to God that they sent me this documentation of cancellation, but I received the other bills.
Well, have them prove it. Have them prove they sent it to you, because that's something that needs to be done properly, as Dean said. And you can fight that. The good news is that it's not going to affect you on this accident. Really, it doesn't seem like. So that's good. You don't need the coverage, but certainly you need to address it, because you don't want to be canceled. It's hard to get insurance again, and you're rated a certain way when you've been canceled. It's a red flag for them.
Well, they reinstalled me.
Oh, they did?
For a lower rate. Yes, sir.
They
All right.
They reinstated you.
Reinstated me.
And they reinstated you, but there's a period of lapse, and that's the problem. And so you need to get proof from them of where they sent your notices of cancellation. And bearing in mind that they have to provide you with cancellation. All right, we got to run, Bill. Thanks, and have a great Sunday.
You guys. You made my mind a little bit easier. Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
That's what we do.
215-227-2727. What else is in the news?
Ease your mind. What else is in the news?
Lamar Odom.
Odom, yeah, really.
Lamar Odom has started to talk again. There was fear that he was brain dead. That's what I heard on the news, and that he wasn't going to come back, and that the Kardashian chick, who is kind of married to him but not really married to him, she was making decisions on his life, and so it was kind of touch and go there. But he's now talking.
It's interesting how they're all sticking by the guy when he was found in a brothel.
Brothel. Yeah, there you
brothel.
Go. No, brothel.
Brothel?
Brothel.
Sorry, I'm not schooled on the old ways of...
You got to come see Dean. 215-227-2727. Brothel, boy.
Brothel.
Brothel. And so, yeah, but you know what? Here's the bottom line. Lamar Odom is a cold, hard addict. Bam. Okay?
There you go.
He needs to wake up and smell the roses and hit a rehab and actually follow the directions.
Multiple addict.
Yeah.
drugs,
Booze.
Viagra, liquid Viagra. That's what they said, right? Do you know what that is, Dean?
I don't.
You sure?
I'm positive.
You know what a brothel is?
I do.
So you should know what liquid Viagra is.
I do not. I do not
Are
know.
you saying that you don't need liquid Viagra when you go to your brothel?
Larry told me it wasn't liquid Viagra. He said it was herbal Viagra.
Oh, herbal Viagra.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's not. Yeah.
And Larry, would you like to natural Viagra?
Natural herbal Viagra. I don't know what it is.
Boy, the things that I could conjure up in my mind right
215-227.
all can't be said on the radio.
Right, 2727. You don't really want to call about liquid Viagra or brothels.
No.
But if you got a legal question, David and I probably have the answer. But let's bring on, we have a special guest just for a short while.
There's a segue.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm sure he appreciates that segue.
Sometimes they're a little awkward.
We didn't plan that one. Sorry.
We have Philadelphia's own district attorney, Seth Williams, on the line. Hey, Seth, welcome to Court Radio.
Good morning, Dean. How are you? It's always a pleasure to be on Court Radio with you.
Yeah, usually I have you sitting next to me, but, I have this mental image
Chair's
of
empty.
You in your pajamas sitting at home.
Right.
Well, actually, I always enjoy being there in the studio with you, but I am an executive board member of the Pennsylvania District Attorneys Association, and we had our fall executive committee meeting this weekend. So I'm actually with the district attorneys from around the state.
Where?
Oh.
In Harrisburg or in Philly? Where are you?
We're actually in the Poconos. We, every 2-3 months we're together, different places all across the state to try to have as many DAs from the state have the opportunity to participate.
I was going to guess Bedford, that resort, Bedford Springs in Bedford, PA.
Our annual summer meeting is in Bedford Springs every year.
See, I knew it. I knew you'd get it. I knew you'd get there.
Yeah, I don't even know about that joint.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, Seth, you're always running somewhere. You've got the Army Reserves that you do. You still doing that?
Yeah, I'm in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard now.
Okay.
I've been in the Army off and on since 1985 and consecutively since 1998 now.
Wow. Well, listen, we were talking about Lamar Odom. Did you hear us talking about him?
Yes.
Okay. And so I think, I guess the why that is relevant to you is because I think that so many people who ultimately are convicted of committing crimes, which they've committed, are really addicts. That's the real basis or genesis for this. And the question is, as the district attorney and as somebody who sees it firsthand, are we doing enough to face that problem that we have around this country? But let's look at Philly.
Clearly, I would have to say no on two fronts, not just drug addiction, but also when it comes to mental health treatment. So, one, as it relates to drug addiction, it's an incredible amount of people that you've identified, of course, are addicted, and then many times either as a result of acting out while addicted or in trying to feed their addiction by trying to, steal things to get money to feed their addiction, commit crimes. And so now I'm very proud in Philadelphia. We have drug treatment court. Approximately 40% of all of our misdemeanor cases result in diversionary programs. We're trying to get people into treatment if that's what they need, or to really address the criminogenic needs that they have. And that really is big mumbo-jumbo criminology words for addressing whatever it is that causes them to commit crimes. The other aspect of it, and you've identified, of course, drug addiction, what I think your listeners need to know is that today in America, and then specifically in Philadelphia, the majority of people that are addicted to heroin began their addiction as a result of being prescribed painkillers. So they were prescribed painkillers maybe as a result of an auto accident. People are in severe pain, a workers' comp type case, something happens. They're getting painkillers legitimately. And then that's their bridge from that to trying to keep, self-medicating, to needing more and more and more to kill the pain, to some graduating to heroin. And that's something that we have to address. We have to find a better way also to get medicines that are prescribed that have expired that people often just keep them in their medicine cabinets, and kids and family members have access to them.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is I was talking to my son yesterday, Jared, who's 23 now, and, you know, he's up in New York, and we were talking about his friends that I know that he grew up with, his group. And there's like, out of 10 kids, 6 or 7 of them have had multiple rehab stents.
Right.
You know, I mean, it is so common, so pervasive. We have to face this. That it's like until we face this, we're going to keep on locking people up and putting them in jail where they learn to become better criminals and better addicts, but they don't get better.
Well, not to mention, I mean, this definitely has an effect, a relationship to guns and gun violence, the mental illness issue, maybe the addiction issue as well, but certainly the mental illness issue that we hear about. So it's all interrelated.
Yeah.
And you know, Seth, you mentioned the correlation between what did you say about? You just mentioned it before you took over, Dean. My mind.
Well, the point is that you're making is that mental health issues and addiction issues probably are responsible for the vast majority of people who sit in jail. And how about the domestic violence? Let's circle back to that, because this is the recognition of Domestic Violence Month. And so, you know, how many people who beat their spouse or their girlfriend are doing it while they're drunk or high? It's got to be a huge percentage.
Again, you know, it's something that we have to discuss. October is Domestic Violence Month, and a lot of great organizations like Women Against Abuse do a lot to get publicity out, you know, during this month. And it's very unfortunate that 1 out of 4 American women, 1 out of 7 American men will experience severe domestic violence from their loved one during the course of their life. And so we have to bring attention to that. We have to ensure that the victims know that it's not their fault, and we want them to come forward. We want them to get help. We want to get help for those that are committing the domestic violence. But again, it circles back to what you're talking right now, like about mental health treatment. And in the 80s, we had many more community-based mental health treatment facilities, and the goal was to get people help in their neighborhood.
Yeah, when I grew up in Philly, we had Byberry. Okay, right. and you know, that became like some horrible place, and then we had the what's the decision, Penn's something, but where
well, even though really specifically President Reagan at that time, the administration in the D.C. decided not to basically to defund community-based mental health treatment.
Right.
And the fact is that we don't spend less money, you know, as a percentage of our gross national product on mental health. It's where do we treat it? And now the number one provider of mental health treatment in America is the Los Angeles County prison system. New York City is the second largest. Cook County, Illinois, where Chicago is the third largest. In Pennsylvania, the number one provider of mental health treatment is the state correctional facilities. So what we need to do a better job of is identifying people with mental health problems earlier, getting the help that they need in the community-based facilities where they can go home at night and just go during the day to get help. But as opposed to we just let them act out now, then they go through the criminal justice system and then get some remediation, some mental health treatment while they're incarcerated, which clearly, again, still isn't the best way to do it.
Yeah, no. I know what I wanted to say before was the prescription drug issue that you brought up.
Yes.
And I think that is huge because that is a very difficult thing to tackle, for obvious reasons. Pharmaceutical companies, the whole medical industry, it's ingrained. I mean, I know I don't need to tell you or anyone else. I go to the doctor just like anyone else does, and the first thing is always, you need this, or here, take this. And right. It's a whole culture that I really think we need to revisit in this country because
but listen, I'm a real big proponent of education, and people need to know that you can't take narcotics, heavy duty narcotics, for more than a week before you become addicted.
Yeah, well, they don't know that. They're not told that, and they're just given.
You need to take responsibility for your own health, and
right.
You can't. What happens is it becomes intransigent because you want it and so you rely upon the doctor.
Right.
And really, that's a BS justification for you to get what you want when you want it, and it's difficult to pull those people who start by getting legal prescriptions to pull them from their addiction and into recovery because they justify it by their pain condition.
Correct.
But guess what? You know what? There is no pain condition that exists for 99.9% of the people who are taking Oxycontins that they need Oxycontins to deal with. Okay? Right. Get an aspirin, baby. Okay? It works. All right, Seth, I'm stepping down off of my box, but you know what?
I agree with you 100%. I need more people to say that, in every neighborhood across the city. And I'm proud to say that within about a month or so, we'll be announcing a pilot program in Philadelphia where we're going to have basically safety deposit, almost like a mailbox near police districts around the city where people can come and dispose of prescription medicines that are in their medicine cabinets that they have at their home. Because one, there's an environmental issue. We just can't prove it because that'll destroy the water system.
Right.
Kids get it, and then we can't let people become addicted to these Oxycontins that people just have around their home.
That's a great idea. That program is amazing.
Well, there's not too many people who know more about addiction and recovery than Dean Weitzman. So if I can do anything to help you, Seth, just give me a call. And
well, I appreciate it. And we need people who are in recovery to be models to other people, to explain to them, one day at a time, and that they can do it.
Yep. All right, well, listen, there's a million other things I want to talk to you about, but unfortunately, we got to run, and maybe I'll just wet your whistle. You can come on the show live the next time you're back in Philly and have a moment to spare.
Well, I appreciate it, Dean.
All right, brother. Take care.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, that was Seth Williams, the District Attorney of Philadelphia, and a good friend of mine. 215-227-2727. If you've got legal questions, we've got the answers, and we got the lines lit up, David. So we're going to take questions as soon as we get back after these station breaks.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years.
You were just hurt. It's not your fault. You're in physical pain. How do you get better? Who is going to help you recover? West Philadelphia Associates has highly trained doctors and staff that can help you today. Don't wait at a hospital. West Philadelphia Associates will work with your attorney, providing documentation of all injuries and the best plan for treatment to get you back to the life you deserve. With diagnostic studies to better detect injuries, West Philadelphia Associates doctors and staff will help you recover. West Philadelphia Associates, here to help you get better because you deserve it. Call 215-471-4714.
If you have legal problems and need answers, call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first at 215-227-2727 for personal injury, medical malpractice, birth injury, and more. Call Dean first.
He will fight for your rights. That's what Dean Weitzman is all about.
Call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first. 215-227-2727. My Philly lawyer, when winning matters most.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. It's Court Radio, and I am Dean Weitzman. Thank you to our regular listeners for making us number 2 in the market. But we want to be number 1. Won't be happy till we are.
That's right.
Tell your friends, tell your coworkers. Everybody in Philly needs to listen to Court Radio. And you heard that disemboweled voice.
Disemboweled.
It's the one and only David M. Rappaport.
Was that your Halloween reference there? Disemboweled?
And as the disclaimer says, the opinions on Court Radio are our opinions.
Oh, so I'm disemboweled.
No.
We're number 2, and I'm disemboweled. Look how those two went together.
I'm circling back to the first half of our show when I said if you're, got a pain condition and it requires more than a week of Oxycontins, you probably are, BSing yourself,
That's Jeff
the doctor, and everybody else you can find. And, go take an aspirin and get to a meeting. 215-227-2727.
When you have an operation, I'm going to bring you aspirin. I'm going to tell the nurses, no morphine, no...
A week. That's all I'm saying. And then it's time to move on.
Okay.
Because you can't live on... Living on heavy duty narcotics
you and I have seen
is not
people,
living.
I've seen people. I've used to work for somebody who was taking how many Oxycontins a day? I don't even know.
As many as he could get his hands on.
It was not pretty.
All right, let's talk to Jeff from Willingboro. My goodness, I love Willingboro, Jeff. Yeah.
Silence.
Jeff? Well, we did have him on hold for the whole show so far. Well, Jeff, if you've got a question, give us a call back, and we'll jump right on the Willingboro question. And Larry says, goodbye, Jeff.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Click them off.
All right, well, we'll
Bing,
come
bam,
back.
Boom.
How about Anthony from Northeast Philly on line 1? Anthony.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey.
We're well, thanks. What's up?
Where in the Northeast?
Around Cotman Avenue area.
All right.
Do you see my billboard up on Cotman at the Boulevard?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just next time, wave and say, "Hi, Dean."
Yeah, he's actually standing in that billboard. His eyes are real eyes. Yeah.
And there's no photoshopping that went on for that billboard.
Yeah,
I really am that handsome.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we got that all out of the way, what's your question, Anthony?
Well, I've been working for an employer for a little while now, and
Railroad.
I guess they're having some financial issues, and they owe not only me but multiple employees 3 paychecks.
Ooh.
And they give us excuse after excuse after excuse as to why we cannot get paid. First it was their account was frozen. Then they had to go to court. The judge gave them an order to get the account lifted. Then now they're saying that the bank won't honor the judge's order. And it's just it's a new excuse now as far as claims are concerned. They haven't gotten paid. It's just a whole mess. And I'm just trying to figure out what can I do to, get my money.
Huh.
Well, you can always sue your employer. Now that see, anything I suggest to you is going to not put you in the best stead with your employer.
Yeah, if you want to work there continue to work there, then these things might not be good for you.
No, I no longer work there.
Okay. Well, then
I can't work for free.
Right.
No,
exactly.
Really.
Well, then, yeah. Did you have a contract with them written?
No contract, no.
All right. Well, you still work, though, so you can – I don't think you have any recourse other than to sue them. You can write them a letter and, try and get it, but –
Well, I got the office manager to write me two letters stating that they have not paid me my checks. And I just don't know what attorney to use.
Here's the problem with that whole thing,
okay?
Because this is really what I want to get to. Your main question is who do I call? What attorney will handle this case? And the answer is maybe nobody. Okay. Maybe this might best be handled by you. If your employer is kind of on the edge of existing and not existing. They're not a very deep pocket, okay? You're not working for IBM, You're not working for Apple. You're working for some schmo who can't make his bills. He can't.
Dentist's office.
A dentist's office. Okay. And so there's statutes. There's Pennsylvania Statute 43.251 that all employers must pay the wages of their employee. And so there's a statute. Not only that, but you have a contract, whether oral or written, that says, hey, I'm going to work for you. You're going to pay me. That's the contract. So there's a violation of Pennsylvania statutes. There's also a violation of your contract. All you have to do is file a small claims action in Philadelphia, if that's where the employer's office is located.
Okay.
And you get yourself down to the Municipal Court of Philadelphia. On the civil side, they'll help you fill out your lawsuit, your complaint. Will take you all of 5 minutes, and then you'll come back one day for a hearing, and the employer will have to attend that hearing. He'll lose. No ifs, ands, or buts. He's going to lose.
Yeah, the easy part is getting the judgment.
You're going to get a judgment then for however much you claim.
Right. The hard part's collecting it.
You have to collect it. But here's one thing that you gave me. You said he's a licensed professional. Okay? Yeah. I'd report him to the dental board once you got your judgment. But I don't know that that's going to be necessary. I think when push comes to shove, if you get a judgment, he's going to pay it.
Well, the owners isn't a dentist. The owner is like someone just with some money, I guess, who bought a practice, has a couple of offices.
Right.
And outside of that, the office manager, from what I was told, the office manager told one of the employees that said they were going to take him to court, that she says, well, you better hurry up because we're changing our name and it won't matter.
Well, that's not true. But,
yeah. And you know something? I'd sue the name of the practice, but I'd sue the dentist as well.
So would I.
You know, because I don't know what happens behind closed doors, but I do know that most licensed professionals can't work for unlicensed professionals. And so maybe for purposes of this lawsuit, suing the dentist wouldn't be a bad idea. So,
well, he's not. The dentist is not the owner, though.
Yeah, but what we're saying is he might not. His relationship with whoever pays him, owns the practice, isn't really relevant. It might not be relevant. I think you should sue the owner and the dentist because.
But
go ahead.
The only issue with that is that there was about 5 dentists and they all quit for not being paid.
Yeah. Wow. So circling back again to our original statement.
Sounds like you're going to have a nice piece of paper.
This is why it's difficult or impossible for people who have the legal issues that you describe to actually get counsel to represent them. Because at the end of the day, David and I own businesses. We have employees that we have to pay. And we have to make sure that when we undertake a matter, that more likely than not, it will result in a fee coming into the firm. Well, if you're owed a couple $1,000s, what do you think the fee could possibly be? And what's the chances that we're going to actually recover it? And, you know, so...
And how much work is it going to take us to do it?
Will we have to do $10,000 worth of work to collect a $800 fee? So you know, people don't understand that at the end of the day, it's a business that needs to continue, you know, because we have to pay rent and salaries, etc. So, but that's why you're listening to Court Radio, because we can tell you at least how to get that first judgment. Whether you're actually going to collect it, I don't know. But sue the name of the practice, sue whoever you believe is responsible for owing you the money.
Okay.
And if you can sue an individual, if you know the owner of the business's name,
I do.
I'd sue them as
individually,
well. Individually.
Yeah.
You may not legally have a right against them. I'm not sure. I would need to see all the papers. But you know what? Let the court decide whether you have a right or not. When in doubt, sue individually as well as a corporation. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
And let us know how you make out.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Right. Take care, buddy, and have a great Sunday. 215-227-2727. Let's talk to Tish on line 5. Hey, Tish, welcome to Core Radio.
Hey, Dean.
How are you?
I'm well this morning. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. So tell me why you're calling.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for that aspirin comment. That woke me right up.
Did you take
one? I
one?
promise I'm not going to rip your head off. Okay. I do want to say, though, that I know you realize there's a lot of us out here in pain for which aspirin's not the answer. You do know that, right?
Well, I do know that, but I also know that the answer isn't in narcotics. Unfortunately,
you are correct in that, and I will agree that I had to. I'm one of those people that, unfortunately, and I'm a professional. I won't say who or what at this moment. I'm sure you understand, but I did unbelievably graduate to heroin use. You should have told me that 10 years ago. I would have fainted. But it was a lot easier than you think, and I got in a whole lot of trouble, got very sick, and I was one of the fortunate ones. But that's not really why I called, Dean. I'm calling for another reason.
I appreciate that conversation. I do. And
I hope somebody hears what I'm saying. I'm going to tell you that you will die, or you'll want to die if you continue along that path. That much I will say.
There you go. All right. Well, then you've made my point. Go ahead.
I was in a car accident. Oh, let's back up a little bit. March, slip and fall accident on the property of a school of a little boy who I was accompanying school under a professional capacity. Ice and snow. Called an attorney, getting some treatment for that. I have some coexisting conditions from a previous work comp injury. It's a little sticky, a little complicated, but I'm getting some treatment. In June, someone rear-ends me. Not my fault. I hurt my neck in that accident, but I never said a word because I really didn't want to muddy the waters, so to speak. And I've talked to my attorney briefly about this, but I want to hear what you have to say. What does a person do? You have a current lawsuit, right?
Yep.
Something else happens in which you get injured again. Should I pursue another lawsuit at a later time? Should I forget about it? What do you think?
Well, here's what I think. I think that as the injured party, it's always your responsibility to prove each and every injury that you claim comes from a particular accident. When there are multiple accidents that are kind of stacked close in time, one on top of the other, it muddies the waters. There's no way around that. And you're gonna have to, through the assistance of doctors, you're going to have to tease it out and explain cogently which injuries came from which accident. Because the slip and fall, the first accident, is not responsible for any injuries or exacerbation of the original injuries that came from the auto accident. So the auto accident only pays for that which the auto accident caused, and the workers' comp / slip and fall accident only pays for their injuries. And sometimes that means, unfortunately, you have, instead of 2 good cases, 2 crappy cases. Because
too difficult, long-winded, tease out too much cases.
Well, and the insurance companies love this situation. They argue one.
Well, I don't want to do anything the insurance company loves, I'll be honest with you. I've had a lot of bad experiences.
Yeah, well, you know what they're going to do. The one argues that it's the other one. The other one argues, and you get less value for each one. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't pursue them. And I've had cases where, and it may seem like, oh, how convenient, but there are different distinct injuries caused by each incident.
Course.
So
if one injured your neck and the other you fractured your ankle, that's an easy case. Because
unfortunately in my case, you guys, I've got a back and neck on the slip and fall. I landed right on my tailbone on the cement. So I can tell you how that felt.
Yeah.
And in the car, it's mostly neck, but the first was back and neck, and now we have neck.
Yeah,
so that's really sounding, as we described, muddy.
Yep. Muddy is what it is, but you can't run from it. You can't run from it because it's there for everybody to see, and running from it will be, they'll try to paint that as being you're manipulating the situation. So I think you have to deal with it head on.
I think you need to pursue both, and here's why I think you need to pursue both. Because if what you just said about the neck, let's talk about that. The car accident, the most recent event, exacerbated or caused a new neck injury. Whatever it did, it involved your neck. You're not going to get, I guarantee you, on the prior ones, you're not going to get nearly any type of either value or connection to what you're dealing with now, because they're going to say the car accident either exacerbated it or made it worse or created something new. So in order to get what you deserve, or potentially what you can deserve for the neck, would be to pursue the car accident, regardless of the fact that you had a pre-existing injury. I mean, pre-existing injury is a pre-existing injury. It's there. So,
Tish,
you tease it out and you do it.
You paint a picture that's not a good one,
No,
but it is what it is. Unfortunately, sometimes that's the way.
I'm kind of a gnarly person, and I'm very persistent, so maybe I have time on my side, but I have to be honest with you. I'm nothing like an insurance company.
There aren't anybody who
No,
is.
who is, right?
Thanks, Tish, for calling Court Radio. Have a great Sunday, all right?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, 215-227-2727. Let's talk to Esther from Northeast Philly, who had a car accident on September 30th. Hello, Esther.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good
morning.
morning.
Yeah, I had an accident on September 30th. I was on a one-way street. I stopped. It was a stop sign, so I stopped, and there was no car. As soon as I turned left, then I saw this car coming on a terrific speed. I really had to, literally move my car out of the way. I was hit around my tire area, and his insurance company is saying that because I was supposed to stay at the stop sign, they're not going to pay anything. They're not going to. The car was supposed to be total because of the impact. The airbags went off. So they said they're not going to do anything. So I was just calling to find out.
Well, stop sign and the left turn is a double whammy of
Well, that just happened to you on your way to work, on the way to the show today.
Almost did, yeah.
Yeah, David's driving through a green light, so he has no basis to stop.
I'm just driving on 6, just driving.
And a vehicle where you were positioned on a perpendicular street enters the main road.
They were making a right, though, onto the road, so it's a little different.
No, they were coming into your lane, whether right,
regardless of what, right? Correct.
Okay,
that's
so
correct.
Coming into your lane, and they have a duty to wait.
Yes.
And
well, they had a red light. So
yeah. So Esther, you have a stop sign. I presume the other vehicle does not. Correct?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
You will always be at fault for that accident. It will always be, it might be that the other car is 10% at fault. Okay, I won't give you 100%, but you're going to be the majority at fault for that accident every day of the week. And if I had you, Esther, and the other car, and I had to pick one who I wanted to be my client, it would be the other car. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And so the other insurance company is not going to pay. The question is, do you have property damage coverage on your policy?
Oh, no, it's a liability.
Liability only. So you're going to be
you're not going to get your car
you're going to be out in the cold, unfortunately, in Philly on this case. Is your car totaled or is it fixable? Sounds like it's fixable.
Yeah, it's that total.
It's total.
I understand that.
Okay. Time to buy a new car. Move on, Esther. It's time to move on.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thanks for listening to Court Radio. I wish I could have given you a better answer, but I just, I gave you the right one anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care, dear.
This brings up a comment I want to make.
Yes, sir.
Her problem, Esther's problem, and two clients who I had over the past couple of weeks really brought this to my attention, which is, regardless of what your car is worth, okay, if you need your car desperately and you can't buy a new one or even a used one or whatever, then you must have collision coverage. I can't tell you, just like with Esther, it sounds to me like she really needs her car. She's very concerned about it, but she didn't have collision coverage.
Yeah, well.
And what happens when you don't have collision coverage and the other person's either doesn't have, they're not at fault, or they drive away and you can't find out who they are?
Uninsured?
Right. You don't get diddly squat.
We're going to agree to disagree on this one.
Why is that?
Because I think the least important coverage for most people,
don't get me wrong now,
is property damage.
No. You're missing my point.
all I'm saying is, in Esther's case, if she had uninsured motorist, I think that's more important. She doesn't. She only has liability.
I'm not disputing that. I agree with you. We're not. We do agree on this issue. What I'm saying is, if you need your car, you absolutely need it to get to work, to do whatever. And if you find yourself without a car, you're really in bad shape because you can't go to work, you can't take your kids, whatever. Then if you don't have the means to replace your car with your own money, you better have collision coverage.
Okay.
You must have it. Don't skimp on it because it's not.
But if you have to make decisions about your insurance coverage, okay, and financial decisions,
okay,
I would say that having full tort and or uninsured, underinsured motorists are far more important than collision coverage.
I totally agree.
All right. 215-227-2727. Folks, if you've got legal questions, David and I have the answers, and we have a few more minutes, so keep those calls coming. We'll be right back.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years.
You were just hurt. It's not your fault. You're in physical pain. How do you get better? Who is going to help you recover? West Philadelphia Associates has highly trained doctors and staff that can help you today. Don't wait at a hospital. West Philadelphia Associates will work with your attorney, providing documentation of all injuries and the best plan for treatment to get you back to the life you deserve. With diagnostic studies to better detect injuries, West Philadelphia Associates doctors and staff will help you recover. West Philadelphia Associates, here to help you get better because you deserve it. Call 215-471-4714.
If you have legal problems and need answers, call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first at 215-227-2727 for personal injury, medical malpractice, birth injury, and more. Call Dean first.
He will fight for your rights. That's what Dean Weitzman is all about.
Call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first. 215-227-2727. My Philly lawyer, when winning matters most.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Hey, welcome back, Court Radio listeners. It's Dean Weitzman, and I'm joined in the studio with my co-host, the one and only, the one missing co-host for the last 4 weeks, David M. Rappaport.
Good morning.
Hello, David.
Hello.
Welcome back to Court Radio, Mr. Rappaport.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Got a little tongue-tied the first half of the show.
Boy, I did. It's I lost my chops a little bit.
Yeah. Have you been playing music lately?
Actually, I'm going to be playing today.
Where?
At noon in this is a benefit thing for a bass player that passed away. This guy Ron Ward, really nice guy. I didn't get to know him that well, but I played with him a few times, and he came up with a strange illness and ended up passing. So all of his friends and relations and family are putting together a little benefit where there's going to be multiple bands playing.
All right.
In Glenside area.
Cool. Well,
and a memorial. So it'll be fun. I mean, it'll be fun in the sense that we'll be celebrating his life. So.
Uh-huh. All right, let's talk to Tammy from West Oak Lane on line 1. Hi, Tammy. Welcome to Court Radio.
Hi, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Is this the first time you called Court Radio?
Yes.
Do you like the show so far? Are we meeting your expectations?
Yes, it's a very good show. I listen to it every Sunday.
That's
on my way
great.
to work.
On your way to work. Where do you
Okay.
work at? Can you tell us that? Or is that confidential?
No, it's confidential.
Okay. All right. I'm all about confidentiality. You know?
Yeah.
It's no problem. You tell me confidential, I will not tell David anything.
That's right. No one else is listening. You can tell us.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Tammy
bad.
from West Oak Lane, what's happening in your life? What information can I give you today?
Okay. Now, my question is, I was leaving out the bank, and the door fell on my foot and leg. You know, the front door, the big glass heavy door.
Uh-huh.
Now, I was wondering if I should get a lawyer or should I just go through the bank's insurance?
Okay, well,
Because they've been contacting me.
Oh, please.
a good question, and it's an
Easy answer.
Easy answer.
Yes.
You never,
Ever.
deal
We'll repeat it.
unrepresented
Yes.
with people who know more than you about the value of your case.
They're going to wave $500 in front of your face faster than I bet you. Before
So-
you get a lawyer, they're going to offer you that.
When a defendant, see what a defendant should do in this situation, and they're the defendant, you're the plaintiff, you're the injured party, and what they should do is they should call you and say, Tammy, we understand that you were injured on our property, and we apologize. And we suggest, Tammy, that you go hire yourself the best lawyer you can get who will help you make an appropriate settlement.
Informed decision.
Yeah. That's what they should do, but they don't. They don't. They try to go in for the kill. Hey.
You shouldn't have pulled that door as hard as you did. Or you should have known that it was going to fall on your foot. Why were you wearing sneakers instead of steel-toed shoes?
And then they offer you $300 and a toaster, and you say, "Oh, I guess that's really
And
all
a little
my cases.
lollipop from the.
That's all my
bank.
case is worth." And then
And you know what? They did. They understood it was their fault, and also their bank workers, the workers in the bank, also were witnesses to it. So.
Right, but wait until I suggest.
guess what? They have
that will all change.
They have that on video too, no
They
doubt.
probably do. Yeah,
It's a bank for
They
God's
definitely
sakes.
do.
Yes.
How long ago did it happen?
A couple of weeks ago.
I bet you that tape is gone unless they preserved it.
It's probably not.
Yeah.
But anyway, give us a call during the week, Tammy. We'd love to have your case. We'd love to represent you, and then you could go all around and say, hey, I'm being represented by the guys on Court Radio.
Okay.
All right, Tammy, I'll talk to you soon. Give us a call. During the week, 215-227-2727. That's the number for my Philly lawyer, and we certainly handle cases such as that.
We should ask what bank.
Who cares? They're all bad. They all nickel and dime you.
Yeah, right.
You know?
They don't hesitate to charge the late fee or whatever, the processing fee.
Yeah.
Whatever they charge monthly, when you go under a balance or whatever.
Let's talk to Adele from Center City on line 3, Lar. Hi, Adele. Welcome to Court Radio.
Thank you. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Well, thank you. How about you?
I've been better, but I'm rocking and rolling. It's a new day.
There you go.
Rocking and rolling.
David can relate to that. He's a drummer in a rock band.
I'm rolling.
Well, I'm a singer, so
Hey.
maybe we could duet.
Okay.
Might have you on Court Radio
Yeah,
if you
come
really take you up on that
Yeah, we
offer
could
there,
do a jam
Adele.
session. So I have a legal question, though. I'm hoping you can help me with. I have a extensive medical history, and as a result, I am an amputee. I'm an above-knee amputee, right? So I use a prosthetic and, ambulate and have lived life to the fullest. But recently I had some medical issues and had to go into an emergency room. Now, when I had the first shift taking care of me, I didn't have any issues. But when there was a shift change, the new nurse, the new doctor that came on call, and the charge nurse, they didn't want to listen to what I wanted. So what ended up resulting is they waited until a new psych physician came on call, and they called it in as a psych issue because they wanted to get me out of the ER. So they kept telling me I was discharged, I'm discharged. And I'm like, no, you have to run my blood work to see if I'm stable. And they refused to do that. And because I was resisting them, they didn't call PD. They called the local police in to threaten me. And when that didn't work, they had all of their security guards, like, standing around my room, like, you know, kind of, like, antagonizing. And after that, they basically held me down. They held me down. It was 5-1. And the police watched while they basically drug sedated me with 2 drugs that I did not agree to, and everything was against my will. So I want to sue them, but I'm just wondering, how do I best approach this?
Okay, well, here's going to be the quick answer. First off, let me just say this. The transition in shifts is a classic time for negligence to fester in an ER. Okay, when one shift doesn't hand off appropriately a patient to the next shift, problems develop. Okay, having said that, and believing everything you said just as you said it, when it comes to medical malpractice, and that's what we do, we evaluate the value of the case first, before we evaluate the negligence of the claim. And so oftentimes, I'll presume there's negligence. It's a presumption on my part, although we need to get that presumption confirmed by licensed, like-minded licensed professionals. So if it's a nursing issue, we have to get nurses to review all the records and conclude that there was a breach of the standard of care or negligence. But first things first, presume that exists, okay, before I spend the money to actually see if it exists. Let me look at the damages first. And does the case have a value in excess of 6 figures? So, and it may, and in your case,
it's a major university hospital, well respected, so they don't want their name in the newspaper.
They don't care.
Me, that doesn't mean
Trust me, they're sued 1,000 times.
They don't care.
Well, go into the court docket system and research them, and you'll see thousands of cases. They couldn't care less.
That has no value to them. No, they don't care one bit, and they treat.
All they provide is a patient service rep that's like Joe Schmo that doesn't even know what's going on. And I was actually in the process of filing a complaint before I was assaulted, and I called them multiple times. Like
none of that matters to them. The question is, they don't care. And the question is, what is the value of the case? And if a case on a medical malpractice is worth $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for your pain and suffering and aggravation, and that might be a lot for what you described. But if it is,
well, they damaged my ankle, and I only have one, so it's kind of important.
Well, okay, then it might have greater value. And if that damaged ankle is a permanent condition, then maybe it is something that somebody would be interested in. But again, people in my business look at the value of a case on MedMal.
They want to make a certain amount of money off of it.
And if it's
it costs.
50-50 case, no one will take it anyway.
Well, it costs thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to pursue a case because of the very reason I just said. They will fight every case. They will make you file a lawsuit.
They have major lawyers or huge.
It's the insurance companies that drive it, and we need to get experts. They cost money. So it's not because we want to make a certain amount of money. It's because we need to recoup all of the costs we're going to be spending on it.
Yeah, the average medical malpractice case will cost my firm somewhere around $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to get it to the point where we know it is a case. And so so as a business decision, we look at the value first, and when it's not there, when we don't believe the value's there, even though there may be a malpractice, we don't get involved. Listen, we're all out of time. I'm so sorry. I'd love to continue this conversation. Have a great Sunday, and thanks for calling Court Radio.
Take care.
All right, take care.
David?
Yes.
So good to see you back here, bud.
It's good to be back.
All right. We'll see you next week, folks. Same time, same place.